All right. Okay, we should be streaming live now. Amen. We're thankful. Welcome, welcome, welcome to all of those out there in YouTube land. All right. I got the cue that we're on live now, so we are happy. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk with T. I am your host, Tracy Patton. I'm out of Aurora, Colorado, and we have a special treat for you all today. We have a special guest, a very powerful pioneer in this industry, in this season, co-owner of the Doc Bookshop. We have Danya Craddock with us today out of Fort Worth, Texas. We are so happy that she took time out of her very, very, very busy schedule to join us here on Let's Talk with T. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. Hello, Danya. We are
Hi,
happy to have you on.
I am happy to be on with Talk with T. Thank you so much, Miss Tracy Patton, Mrs. Tracy Patton. It's just a great and an honor to be on this show. You are doing a lot of great work in the ministry, and it is definitely needed, especially in the times we're in today. So I am honored to be a guest on Talk with T.
Amen. We're thankful. So, like we always do with Let's Talk with T, we like to start off our each and every interview or live interaction with a quick prayer giving glory and honor to God. Lord, we thank you today that you've allowed us to come on here together to continue to build the kingdom of God, to continue to do the things that you have called us to do in unity and in love. In Jesus' name, we thank you. Amen, amen, and
Amen.
amen. Amen. So we're thankful that you all are on here today. If you haven't, and if you can, please click share, bring a friend on, let them know that we are here, we are live. We will not be before you long, but I am drinking. We always talk about what tea we're drinking. Today I have apple cinnamon tea. Bigelow's apple cinnamon tea. It's plain. I didn't add anything to it. Wondering what Danya Craddock has in her cup.
Actually, I have peppermint tea, especially I try to do peppermint tea every time before I talk because it's just clarifying and just gives you a better voice when you do peppermint. So I tend to do peppermint tea each and every
Okay.
time.
Learning already. All right. So I should start with my peppermint tea next time. I have peppermint tea in my cabinet. But I just went ahead and grabbed the first thing I saw. So I will keep that in mind for next time. So let's get on and dig on in. I'm trying to give a few moments for those that are able to get on to get on. But
Now,
we'll go ahead.
how do I share this? Is it on, what's the link that we
At
can,
the Okay, at the bottom of the screen, I don't know if you're on your YouTube or on YouTube. If not,
oh, we're on YouTube, we're
actually,
not on Facebook?
we're on YouTube live. So on
Okay.
YouTube, it'll be the Let's Talk with T. YouTube.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay.
Uh-huh. So it's Let's Talk with T. And you can share it from your YouTube actually as well. I don't want to click and mess anything up, so I'm not going to click anything. But if you are on your YouTube channel, you can share, I believe, to different streams as well. So we'll get that going. And then those that are not able to come on live, thankfully, will be able to watch it later as well. So we'll be saved on Let's Talk with T channel. So that'll be a good thing as well. But for you to watch it, you do need to subscribe to the channel to see Let's Talk with T interview. All of the interviews will be streamed on the YouTube channel Let's Talk with T. All right. And a lot of the reason for that is because we've been having some blockage from Facebook. Facebook has, they will stop some of the, they will block or it'll get reported or just different things has been happening on Facebook. And we don't want the service to be interrupted. So we're going to continue to stream from YouTube, from the YouTube channel called Let's Talk with T. On the flyer, it says Tracy Patton, but it's still the same. It's still the same streaming channel. Okay. All right. So let's go. We have some questions that we're excited to hear the answers from. Ms. Danya Craddock, tell us a little bit about the Doc Bookshop.
Well, the Doc Bookshop is one of the largest, not the largest, but one of the largest African American owned bookstores in the state of Texas. We operate in the Dallas-Fort Worth market in terms of our physical location, but we do service um, uh, organizations, businesses, individuals, and groups nationally. So you can always go to the docbookshop.com or to connect with all of our channels and all of our different platforms. Please go to docbiz.com. That's DOCKBIZ.com. And you can be connected to all our platforms. But the Doc Bookshop opened up in 2008. We've been open for about 15 years. And in those 15 years, we've hosted just multiple events. Our first year open, we did so many events with Barack Obama, not with Barack Obama, just during his whole campaign season, we kind of key in on his different debates and watch parties and all those different things that was going on in terms of a African American coming into the presidential office. So, and from there on, we just continued to host a lot of different events and we're a full service bookstore. So that means we carry all the various genres from fiction, nonfiction, mystery, all the subgenres in fiction, which is like your romance, your um, sci-fi, thrillers, mystery, as well as your nonfiction, then the subgenres, which are self-help biographies, um, self-help books. Did I say self-help books? Yeah. Um, History and culture, economics, and business. So we're totally a full service bookstore.
All right. I know you guys have a lot in store for coming up, and we will go over that at the end, towards the end. But what made you, I know you're co-owner, so I know you're speaking for Donna as well, as you guys work together for the Doc Bookshop. But when and why? I say when, far as year, and why did you guys decide to start the Doc Bookshop?
Well, I have a cousin, Evelyn. I don't even know if she's listening today. She challenged, she was in the poetry community at that time and just hosting a lot of poets in the Little Rock, Arkansas area. And she wanted to bring poets, she wanted to help the poets travel so other markets can experience, poets and spoken word artists. And she said, "Oh, Danya, you're not a promoter. You're not going to promote." And she's right about that. But I had since become a promoter. But at that particular time, 15 years ago, she's like, or you're not a promoter. And I was like, okay. She said, but so can you find a location or a venue or something? So I want to bring poets to the Dallas Fort Worth area since you're there. And I said, okay, let me just go think about it. And I ended up just driving. I remember just driving around the community and I said, oh, I want, for some reason, it's just, I don't know if the ancestors were speaking because I was driving actually, and I was like, I'm going to open up a bookstore. That's what I'm going to do. And so I immediately called my business partner, Donna, and said, actually, I wanted her to go in business with real estate with me because that's what I was doing. That's the market I was doing, real estate and in the housing industry. And I wanted her to partner with me and let's do real estate at a high level. She said, "No, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do real estate. I don't want to be in that such an aggressive environment." I said, "Okay." But then I said, when I called her about the bookstore, she said, "Yes, we can do the bookstore."
Okay.
So, and she was actually selling books for Coates Ferry, because she was at Bright Divinity at the time at TCU on the TCU campus. And I was actually selling books at the trade shows for real estate. When I did trade shows, all the different trade shows I was doing to get my name out there, to get my business out there for real estate. And I always had books with me, because you don't sell real estate right away, but I was able to sell, you know, different books,
Awesome.
real estate books.
Real estate books, right?
Hmm.
Awesome. Okay, but what year did you guys start? What year was it?
2008.
2008. Wow. Okay, so let me just give a little background. It's an honor to be related to those at the Doc Bookshop. It is absolutely a wonderful experience to be connected by blood. Actually, Donna and Danya are my relatives, so I'm very grateful to have partnered with them on many occasions. So I just have to throw that in there as well. I actually never knew the reason why, or the actual reason y'all started the year, yes, but the reason, I had never heard that story. So I
Really?
think that I'd never heard that story. I didn't know that was how it actually started. I knew you guys were always educationally you know uh stable. You guys always had, you know, roots in literature. So I just knew that it was destined to happen. I'll say that, to say it in a short to say it in a short phrase. I was not surprised when you guys started the bookstore, but I didn't know that that was kind of how it got prompted. So that's pretty awesome to hear that story.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
never really knew that
It's
story. So
it's 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 deeply connected into the family, and just hitting another generation and connecting another generation as we go through the aging process. And the Travier Craddock, he's probably one of the strongest in that next generation, who's really pushing, just because of the his educational goals, that he's really in alliance and pushing the bookstore and that next generation being Travier Craddock and Donovan Craddock, which are really young men that are really, as well as some of my other nephews, which are young men that are really trying to push the bookstore, in terms that next level, that next,
yeah,
the social world that I'm not very good at.
yeah. I will say though, the political and the anime and the sports world. So it's a broad spectrum that we have to look forward to for the next upcoming generation. So I'm excited to see what they'll do and collaborate with the Doc Bookshop as well.
Mhm.
So can you share with us some of the challenges that you guys have faced since starting the Doc Bookshop?
Oh my gosh, it's such a labor of love. This business, I can't, it's a tough business, because we entered the market where you have Borders, Barnes and Noble, Half Price Books, Walden Books, just bookstores with very strong presence, and multiple stores. So
Mhm.
when I even had some authors, come and say, "Oh, why would you open a bookstore? Why would you do this?" Well, and these were authors that were people in the industry were questioning the motive of us opening a bookstore. So if I
Mhm.
say some of the biggest challenges were challenges within the industry,
Mhm.
um, that were not forgiving and helping to circumvent the industry, knowing the challenges that were there, And they would say, "Oh, you got audiobooks and there ebooks, and the ebooks is you're not going to go anywhere because of how strong ebooks are, you
Mhm.
know." And I was secure. My background is a double major in economics and history, and plus I had a master's, and I come from a real estate and a housing industry, so I was really secure in terms of being able to compete, and understood our strength and our opportunities, and knew and understood that whole SWOT analysis,
Mhm.
strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Yes.
Um, so people always threw my weaknesses and the threats in my face all the time, but
Mhm. Mhm.
nobody can, one of the most important concepts of business is vision. And
Mhm.
so with that vision and that foundation, I knew that we can forge a space in that competitive arena or the competitive marketplace despite the odds. So to your question, one of the most, challenging things was um, people within the book industry and readers and
Mhm.
those that sing your efforts but say you won't survive. Oh, she's just silly. Somebody even had a post,
Mhm.
you know, wrote a post in terms of some of my feelings that I shared with them or how I was going to navigate in this industry. And then a lot of authors jumped on that post
Mhm.
and were very negative and they said some very mean things, just
Mhm.
mean, vicious things that I was like, wow, these are authors in the industry and they've been in the industry for a while. And for
Mhm.
them to speak of a young woman who's trying to enter this industry and do something different. Um, one of the authors I even paid, one of the authors that was out there saying the most negative things, I had flew her into the Dallas Fort Worth area, um, paid her hotel. And she
Mhm.
was the one that went to social media. And then the author that I really was very fond of, because I love historical fiction, I
Mhm.
mean, she was the one that was saying the most hurtful things. So
Mhm.
I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. And 15 years later, these same authors are finding validation in the strategies and the methodologies I use to build the foundation I built the bookstore on, which is my history and culture, and being significant and bringing forth those books to
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
forefront
Mhm.
of the minds of African American people. Just
Mhm.
bringing those
Mhm.
voices like your you know, Bea Richards, Fannie Lou Hamer,
Yeah.
just all the women's I was so impactful. Women's Month, Poetry Month, just bringing
Yes.
all those works that could have been going into obscurity because at that time a lot of bookstores had closed, and so
Mhm. Yeah.
just keeping African American literature on the forefront. Sister Soldier, Eric
Mhm.
Jerome, Dickey, all those
Mhm.
different authors that you know, were in the arena, but they thought that space was already filled by borders. But nobody can. I would go on record as saying the African American creativity is
Mhm.
undefeated.
Mhm.
As
Mhm.
as 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 as
That's
strong
right.
as we are in sports,
Mhm.
you know, our creativity in other arenas is unmatched.
Mhm. Mhm.
And and it's and those people that said those hurtful things, a lot of them are not writing today, and the ones that are writing today had to look back into the history and culture of our people to find
Mhm.
their own significance, to find their own voice. And
Mhm.
that's amazing. I think
Right.
that's, you know, it's a relationship that needs to be fixed. And, I'm not going to reach out and fix it because I'm still here today. And you're the one
That's
that said I wasn't going to be here. I'm a
that's right.
silly little girl.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Right.
One day I'm gonna share that whole post, but um I'm a fan of ancient movies like Troy, but
Mhm.
today is not the day for killing prince or princesses.
It's a
Yeah,
time for it all,
it's a
right?
time and a place,
That's
today's not
right.
today.
Yeah, that'll be a part two.
hmm
But I'm so happy that you guys chose to stand your ground and overcome all those obstacles, knowing that you are planted where you're supposed to be at this time because more is coming, right? And we know greater is coming and greater is going to be your portion soon. So for all of those that have, spoken against you and the Doc Bookshop, God is about to show up and show out on y'all behalf, for sticking with it and being a good mark in the community. You guys have, uh, done so much, uh, uh, free will things just to bring the community together. Through the Doc Bookshop, you have encouraged so many, even myself included, but you have encouraged so many. That's why I wanted to honor you guys with Let's Talk with T for Black History Month, because you guys are and have been and still will make history. So I think that is very important that, a powerful pillar in this industry, in this season, that you guys be recognized as such for and during Black History Month. So I'm thankful for that. So outside of the obstacles so I know there's numerous, but obviously the good outweighs the bad. So speaking on that, what are the best parts of the business that you've experienced thus far?
I had to go and say, just really, just to see the joy and the appreciation within our family. That's just first and foremost. Um, yeah, my family, from the Craddock side, uh, definitely family in Kansas City, Omaha and Kansas City, Denver, and when I moved down to Texas, I moved through my father's lineage, and so just that family, the support from my Texas family through my father's lineage, his mother, and a host of aunts that are actually in Omaha now. Um, and they've really been cheerleaders for some of virtually a lot of our accomplishment. And sometimes, do all that, just see them continue to share and lift us up like the Native Omahans in Texas. That's a very strong organization that continues to, oh my God, Donna Stewart and Terry Miller and all of them. Oh, yeah, they just, oh my God, they just could, that whole group, that whole Native Omaha in Texas. Oh, they even had us create Nebraska, and not just Black authors, authors from Nebraska in the store. And so, and they shop those authors, and you would be surprised how many people are connected in Nebraska that are in Texas, just
Wow,
coming to the
yeah.
store. So, and they are in amazement that they have a space all the way in Fort Worth, Dallas, Fort Worth area, uh, specifically our store location, Fort Worth, and they see themselves, and so not only are African Americans seeing themselves in the books on the shelves, spaced out, um, we have a strong geographical commitment in our space, if that makes sense.
It does. That's powerful, to be from one place and then find them in another place and then have the support.
Oh, I think that's one of the most rewarding things. The community of Fort Worth has definitely embraced the Doc Bookshop and continue to just reward us, especially Sharon from the Kojic Church, Pastor Sharon Ford. Um, did I say that? Yeah. Continues to support us. She celebrated us on last week, so we get a lot of love. And just when you're in the midst of giving up, you have, people that just come in and say the nicest things, like, I'm so happy that you're here, and sharing the word, sharing the Doc Bookshop and its mission, and just the beauty of within the store. I mean, we decorate for every season, everything that's going on. We had decorations for Mardi Gras, and we supported Louisiana authors. So there's a parade of authors from Louisiana. We did that all through Mardi Gras. We did Love. Um, we was a bookseller for Joy Ann Reid, was on MSNBC. She did a book on Megger and Merle, the love story. And so we have a love table on the at the store. And man, just a lot of different things. You know, what I would say is I just that's just what I would say in terms of just the positivity. I was gonna go back and some of the I was gonna digress, but I'm not gonna, okay, let me just go second real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay, so one thing I really want, like the East Coast, they are really, somebody's asking me, am I live with Tracy? Like the high profile, what I would like to see for us is the high profile people on the East Coast, if they're from a certain area, they tend to go into the bookstore. They tend to go into those spaces, and it's just amazing to see that. So you'll see a Jada, if she's in the area, she'll go to an independent bookstore. They're just keen on, Will Smith, when his book came out, he went back to Philly to do his book signing. And so those whole high profile people are intentional about going to the places or the spaces where they're from, where they always shout out, I'm from this Texas, I'm Texas, or wherever, they could be from New Jersey or New York or DC or Baltimore.
I see.
They're going back to those high profile people that have a lot of influence that can, quote unquote, enhance the reader's market, build the reader's market, lend their voices. I would like that for the Doc Bookshop, and it's not often that we have those high profile people in the area that are intentional. Like I would love to have, because speaking of our love story, our love table, and I wish I had a picture of that, but in the middle of that table is David and Tamala Mann. They're right there on that table. So, but I've never had a book signing with them.
Not yet.
Their book is aged now, but it's like I've never had, and those are I think those are the types of things I wish the high profile celebrities that are in their area would support local bookstores, especially a bookstore who caters to their audience.
To their audience, that's right.
And so, and I think that, it would be great if Kirk Franklin popped up, right? But we had, don't get me wrong, we did do his book, The Blueprint, but that took place in Dallas.
Okay.
At he's the school he attended. So, but I would love to say, Kirk Franklin just show up at the Doc Bookshop, and just because that is his home, and I shouldn't be so. Sometimes I get jealous on the East Coast, but but the East Coast has asked me because I have connections with bookstores. This is an older bookstore that has since closed, but she was like, down here, you don't have Bishop Jakes company because they love our store.
That's right.
They appreciate what we've done because we've done a lot of different things in the industry that wasn't done. And so they appreciate us taking that energy, champion things outside of the industry and make it a part of the books industry, like the events and all that kind of stuff. And she was like, Bishop Jakes or Sarita Jakes, they have never been to your store, or they haven't. They come, they come all the way to New York and show us love, and you have a beautiful store in their backyard, and they haven't been to your store. That's I said,
Mhm.
and I try to create excuses. Oh, well, because they got a store in their church. But she said, you, Danya, I remember her saying this to me, Danya,
Mhm.
you have a heart for community. And I can
That's right.
imagine why they would not come to the
Mhm.
store.
Mhm. Mhm. That's right.
Today I had, women before I left to come on a live,
Mhm.
I had women getting woman involved, so,
Mhm. Mhm.
so, but,
Right.
yeah, it just hasn't. I would like for it to happen where the high profile people that are doing these books,
Mhm.
um, support. I think it's changing.
Mhm.
Like it was hard for Emmett Smith, ex-wife. I want to say she had supported the store. But we do have Dion coming to the store, which is beautiful. But they,
Right.
I am so excited about Deion Sanders coming to the store. Like, right,
Right.
like,
Me too. That's exciting. That's huge.
yeah, because you're in Colorado, and that's just that whole connection, and the fact that
Uh-huh.
he's in the store, and my nephew is on the campus at the university that he's coaching at.
Mhm.
And he was like, well, y'all got Deion from the store. What should I do? I said, just tell him you're the nephew. You know, this is a family
Mhm.
owned and operated business. Just
That's
go
right.
tell.
Yep. Let them know.
Yeah, thank you. Or, go talk
Yeah.
to
Because
him,
it's
and
support, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
and just, yeah,
Well,
you're a part of this.
with followers, there's always a leader, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when the leader comes, then the followers will come, right?
Right,
So
right.
you'll see a difference soon. And you've had a lot, you guys at the Doc Bookshop have had a lot of high profile people that have entered into the store, but because you have a love for your community, you want to cater to them as well. So, that's just shows the passion that you have for the industry, and the love that you have, for those that are in the state, that you would love for them to come, just to say hi, just to come and support. So actually, really, you can support them. It's really for you to support them. You want to support them more. But
Mm-hmm.
you just want that open hand, and that open hand to come. But I hope that someone tags and shares this. Tag and share to those in Texas. And I did end up sharing it to YouTube, and also to Facebook. We are live on YouTube, but I also shared it via Facebook. For those that are just coming in, again, this is Let's Talk with T. We have co-owner Danya Craddock from the Doc Bookshop here, having a live interview. We won't be before you too much longer, but we have some more exciting questions to ask with some great answers. She has already given us a lot. I know we don't have time to go through all the good things and all the bad things. As we know, you guys have survived through COVID, which is one of the toughest things that any of us
Oh my
have
God.
faced thus
Oh
far.
God.
But you guys were on fire. You guys exceeded beyond what you thought you could, even during COVID. So that even gave a bigger push, I believe so, I would say, in your industry, to see some of those that did not make it through, and to see that you guys were still able to hang on strong, and to stay open. So what were some of the things that you realized, or some of the things that you faced during COVID, the COVID challenge?
I say early on in COVID it was very challenging. Oh my God, I didn't think the doors was gonna stay open. And then Nation of Islam, the Mosque number 52 have some terrific members.
Mhm.
Um, they said whatever you can, or whatever resources that you have available, make sure you shop intentionally, and shop the Doc Bookshop. So and that was the hidden,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think just individuals within an organization or a system
Mhm.
that were intentional about keeping, you know, entities that they appreciated in their community functional.
Uh-huh.
And so, um, and then then the George Floyd happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those 9 minutes at the scene, and men,
Mm-hmm.
lose his life and cry out to his mother.
Mm-hmm.
Mothers are so important, and everybody should be sensitive. I think just around Mother's Day, everybody should have some sensitivity training
Mm-hmm.
or try to help people, because people, when they lose their mother, they're different.
Mm-hmm.
And the pain is so real. And for
Mm-hmm.
him, whatever was going on within him, he his mother was real to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so just watching that and just that whole experience, and then from what I understood, what I understood first to be, there was a lot of protests. Blacks were standing up, blacks were hurt. The world was seeing something that you experienced in your communities all the time, but the world was seeing it real time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we came to the Black Lives Matter and all the protests that were happening at that
Mm-hmm.
particular time. But we had always opened up our space for when um, that trauma
Mm-hmm.
takes hold of our community. I don't want to say emotion when the emotion, it's a trauma that takes hold, just
Right.
like we've seen with Trayvon Martin. Um, it's gripping.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a call to the community, to the white community.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so you have both entities working at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But the Martha Stewart, from what I understood, I mean, from my stance,
Uh-huh.
Martha Stewart, her team called us and wanted to interview, and then she put out a post that says, if you really want to connect and embrace, and you don't know where to start to embrace because your community may be lily white, but if you want to truly embrace, start with the Black owned bookstore where it resonates with the stories, the history, the culture. They have representation, they
Right.
cater to those communities. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I understood from, and then it changed uh, our experience as a bookseller.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of anti-racist material, pushing that
Mm-hmm.
material. Robin DiAngelo, who came out with her book White Fragility, and to this day, Robin DiAngelo, a strong voice,
Uh-huh.
especially dealing with white America, and calling out the insecurities within that group,
Mm-hmm.
and having them to face their own um, behaviors. Um,
Mm-hmm.
she's, to this day, she has us on her website as a leading place to purchase books.
Awesome.
And that Dr. Robin DiAngelo, and
Mm-hmm.
um, so we built a lot of relationships that really kind of help,
Mm-hmm.
you know, sustain us while educating the public at the same time.
At the same time, right.
So yeah, so that's how we navigated that
Mm-hmm.
pandemic to the point that we missed the whole pandemic.
That's awesome.
So,
That's
you
awesome.
know, just just supporting through books. Everybody, and I started to do a post, but we got so busy because when everybody got on Zoom and all these different
Yes.
platforms on news, on TVs, on movies,
Mm-hmm.
the elephant in the room, the silent, I should say, the silent voice was books in the backdrop. Everybody had books in their backdrop. I was taking pictures
Yeah.
all day long of books in the backdrop. Well, those
Mm-hmm.
books come from real places, from real people. from
Yeah.
real people that's trying to keep this industry alive, and they need your support. Everybody had books in their backdrop, and nobody was supporting the bookstores.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
I was like, y'all all got, and this was before, George Floyd. This was before that. All
Mhm.
these books and these backdrops, and that's when we're like, oh, we're not gonna be able to stay open. But I'm looking at books every time I flip on the
Mhm.
TV.
It's
Oh,
still
it looks
books. Mhm.
cute, but
Mhm.
books are meant to, you know, they're not just a prop. They come
Right.
from a, they come from a very important, they come from very important places. They're not just, it's not just online or Amazon or whatever. I didn't
Mhm.
want to say the A word on this platform, but it is what it is.
Mhm.
Everybody like, oh, and that's one of the things that was said was a threat with Amazon. Amazon became so strong. Amazon ended up competing against its own brick and mortar and had to close. So,
Mhm.
because books have to speak, and it's real people. And those
Mhm.
indie booksellers help
Mhm.
these books, give these books voices and a
That's right.
placement. So, yeah.
I like the way you put that. Yeah, give the books voices. I like that. But I mean,
And
we
then,
need you guys. We, as authors, need you to survive. We really do. We need the booksellers to survive. And that's why I think that there's some that's been on here. And there's some that you have access to pretty much any book. So if there's anyone watching that's an author, upcoming author, they're a strong resource in that industry. I definitely recommend reaching out to the Doc Bookshop to ask questions, get referrals from them, go through them instead, right? Keep your
right.
rights. Keep your rights. So yeah, some of us learned the hard way with that, but what would you change? What would you change if you could in the industry? What would you change as a Doc Bookshop? What would you change in the industry? I know there might be quite a few things, but name one or two things that you would change if you could.
Um, um, there's a big equity gap, I would say, in terms of what booksellers, how booksellers can generate income, because our income is generated on the ability to sell books,
Mhm.
and equity comes from the opportunities to get opportunities.
Mhm. Mhm.
When there's other entities that control where a high best-selling author, uh, author that the people love, author
Mhm.
that the people will support,
Mhm.
and there needs to be more opportunities for Black booksellers that can, because it's business at the end of the day,
Mhm.
that could sell or be the bookseller for your high selling, like your Stuart Woods or
Mhm.
your James Patterson, because you have Black authors that are telling Black stories,
Mhm.
and white booksellers can be their bookseller, right?
Mhm.
And we deserve to have that same connection. Um,
Right.
um, Dr. Martin Luther King said, when you're in a business, you be the best of that business.
Mhm.
And sometimes there's other groups or organizations that have a little bit more power to help in the success or the failures.
Mhm.
And um, we're here.
Mhm.
We're here to stay.
That's good.
Like Dr. Martin Luther King, we're here. We're here to stay.
Mhm.
and we are on our goal to becoming the best bookseller, not the best Black bookseller,
Mhm.
like
I
Dr. King.
see.
You don't
Right.
become the best Black. You
That's right.
become the best in. If you're a street sweeper, you're going to be the best sweeper.
I see.
So we're booksellers, and we're going to become the best bookseller. Um, so that's kind
Hmm.
of what I would say, just increasing the opportunities and the access in the
Mhm.
industry. And
Mhm.
it's been slow, but
Mhm.
it's happening. It's been
Mhm.
some challenges by organized bodies
Mhm.
that can squeeze out the African American bookseller,
Mhm.
and um, it and that's probably the best way I could put it without just really being hard and
Mhm.
dogmatic and just going after people.
That's
And
right.
that's the nicest way I could do it. Great
Mhm.
example. You know if you have a shared mission with the bookseller, be okay with sharing your audience with that bookseller, and the audience sharing their audience with you. So if you there's women who have
I see.
100% Black audience
Mhm.
of women.
Mhm.
She did a book tour.
Mhm.
She had no Black booksellers,
Mm.
no Black booksellers.
Mhm.
And we had, you see yourself in alignment. And after 15 years, you thought you defeated all the obstacles, or defeating all the obstacles, or challenging all the obstacles,
Mhm. I see.
to see some of the obstacles within your same culture, with the
Mhm.
same people that you have kinship with.
Mhm.
You have melanated with, they
Right.
who shout out, support Black this, support Black that. So on the
Mm.
front, you're saying support, but behind the scenes, you're doing something very different. Um,
Mm.
Behind the scenes, you know, it's different. And so you as an individual have to make a concerted effort, like, is this pandering to Black people?
Right.
Are we pandering to Black people? Is your platform
Okay.
a,
Mm. Hmm.
a cultural, intellectual, and emotional exploitation? You start
Mm.
making, and then you have to say, okay, where are the Black voices
Mm.
in, supporting Black businesses? And
Hmm.
where's that cry out now? So
Hmm.
I think back to the question, if I could do things differently, I would challenge and hold people accountable
Mhm.
to their truth.
That's right.
If your truth is to help Black business, build Black business, and your platform is built on that type of a conversation, but
Mhm.
you're being hypocritical,
Right.
um, I have a problem. I have a problem with that, and I think it's important that we figure out ways to call that out, that
Yeah.
hypocrisy, and demand
Mhm.
that not only us as Black business stand up, but the people stand up. The
I
people
see.
said, you have a sold out tour, and in 2024, after all we've been through,
Mhm.
and you know to be intentional
Mhm.
about
Right.
making sure that Black businesses get your support. You want to say, shout out to my Black nail tech, shout out to my beauty, shout out to this, and shout out to that. But
Mhm.
you didn't shout out, you doing a book tour you didn't shout out your bookseller
Mhm.
during Black History Month because you know why? You didn't have a Black bookseller.
Mm.
And something in my spirit told me,
Mm.
Danya, you know, don't get disturbed by this. Don't
Mhm.
get distracted by this because I
Yeah.
had already taught you. And
Mhm.
this happened to you
Mhm.
during Black History Month because I wanted you to see that it's very much real. What I wrote about 50 some years ago is very much real today in Carter G. Woodson's book, The Miseducation of a Negro, which is why we're here today talking Black history. To wrap that around, we're
Uh-huh.
talking Black history. Carter G. Woodson wrote the book Miseducation of a Negro. So he said, don't be dismayed. Don't be surprised. 'Cause I've
Mhm.
already told you this is a reality and this is a fight, unfortunately, that is still going on.
Mhm.
If there is not a back door, because we've been so miseducated,
Mhm.
we will go build that back door, not knowing that we can make a statement, that we have more control, that we have more power. But
Really.
because we're stuck in this generational curse,
Mhm.
and it's so, and such a desire to get the wealth of this society, what we think is a wealthy part of the society, we
Mhm.
lose ourselves in the
Mhm.
process. So he said, don't
Mhm.
be dismayed,
Mhm.
and then,
It's
that,
unfortunate because when did you read that book? When did you read that book?
oh God, I read that decades ago.
Right. Right.
Uh-huh.
And now you're seeing it still come
Yeah.
to surface.
It's even when
Mhm.
you think, you know, and at any given moment,
Mhm.
it shows you that we can go backwards or we have the propensity to be back in the same state that our ancestors so fought so hard to be out of.
That's
We'll
right.
go back into that same state
But that's
because
lack of knowledge. Lack of
yeah,
knowledge.
we'll go backwards at a
Mhm.
time that says you have to be intentional about
Mhm.
what you do, about how you move.
Mhm.
And it's sad.
Mhm.
Um, but that goes back to some of the challenges of what I would do differently to, you know, have Black people in terms of business call out them inequities. And sometimes it's at the hands of our own Black people. And we should not turn a blind eye to them. And we're in an age of Cat Williams that we should be exposing some of these people. So again, if I had to do it all over again, I would just be stronger in demanding that
Mhm.
Blacks respect us in this place, high profile, especially if you're telling the African American experience.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, it looks like um, exploitation,
Yeah. Yeah.
total exploitation. So,
Exploitation.
uh,
Well, that answers the next question. So you want to see less of that, right? So the next question would have been, what do you want to see less of? Well, we can add that in. However, you pretty much incorporated it in. Less of hypocrisy,
uh-huh,
less of exploitation. We know what it is. Less of what it looks like to be pandering, right? Because
uh,
that will support because whatever the statistics are, more so, obviously they're for that, for certain particular audiences, we're going to support and spend the money on it, right, as
right.
African American people. So you use that market to make money as an author, but then you don't want to support, you know some things we'll never understand with why people do certain things.
Mm,
But as far as exposure goes, This is the
It's,
season for exposure. We've been seeing it in all things, you
yeah,
know.
we'll say we want to help close the wealth gap. We want to do this,
Mhm,
and it sounds good. And black people say, yeah, we want to help close this wealth gap. Give us some, give
mhm,
us something, help us. And you're on that same bandwagon. But then
mhm,
when you have the power, you don't execute. You don't help those black families that you said, black families, we need to support this, we need to support that. But you, you end up taking the people and handing them to those people that have exploited us.
mhm,
And they gain income and wealth. And that only increases the wealth gap.
mhm,
You had the power, but
mhm.
you didn't do it. You
Right.
didn't do it. In 2024,
Mhm,
when when societies expect for you to reach back and help
mhm,
because we've opened those floodgates.
mhm,
And then they looking like, dang, we did all this, open the floodgates, Black Lives Matter, Black Business Matter,
mhm,
support Black business, do this and do that. And here you go, backwards.
mhm,
Sad,
mhm.
sad, 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 sad. It was even sad to, it's sad to watch.
It
It's
is.
sad knowing, you know, books is probably one of the biggest threats,
Mhm. Because it's power.
across, yeah, across the world, books is probably one of the, you don't
Mhm,
know even what to do. They still trying to figure out how to deal with in the ban books this day. Is something else that day is, suppressing this voice the next day, you know. Just books are so powerful.
mhm,
It's especially around people with influence that can really influence and move the needle.
right.
Books are very powerful, and you know, once you get a very strong platform, two things are going to happen. You're probably going to publish a book,
Mhm.
and eventually you're going to see the funeral home. Yeah,
One or
yeah,
the other.
yeah. That's where it's
Mhm,
at. So
mhm,
books play a critical role in this industry, and it's by no default that we're here. It's
mhm,
by my great grandparents used to work in the governor mansion
mhm,
below, and their housing and their beds was below the library. But
mm,
just think of that feeling of so close to that knowledge and information and pecking at it once you get a chance, when you're not dog tired. And
mhm,
there are wilder dreams. You live below the library, and here it is,
mm.
about six generations later, your granddaughters own a bookstore.
Look at that.
And yeah, generations later.
You know,
Uh,
even right there, I'm gonna pause you on that one. Just even with going back with the word of God, right?
mhm,
We are blessed because of the prayers from our ancestors. God's promised them some things, right?
mhm,
Our ancestors was promised some things. That's why you see authors, bookstore owners, publishers in the bloodline now. And
mhm,
because, I never even thought of that, knowing that they lived in that home, but not knowing that they were under the library. But those prayers, you know, and those promises,
mhm,
God is not a God that lies. So all of those promises that are answered, we're going to see them all, no matter
mhm,
the obstacles that we go through, no matter the trials and tribulations we got to crawl through. As long as we faint not, as long as we don't give up, they're going to
mhm,
see it. Even you will become an ancestor. We will become an
mhm.
ancestor.
Right,
And the
right.
promises that we got that we didn't get to carry out, but you started it, you know,
Mhm, mhm,
as a trailblazer, you're a trailblazer. The Dot Bookshop is a trailblazer, and more to come. So that's why I say I'm excited to see, and then we see less of, and it hurts, and it's because of the compassion that you have, because you know that they know better and that they can do better.
Mm-hmm.
The people know what they're doing. They could do better, but they're not
Right.
doing it.
Right.
But then it makes you think, why not? You know, why not? I mean, that could be a whole nother conversation, but it's like, why are you not doing it and you can? What did they tell
Right.
you? You see what I'm saying? It's a
Mm-hmm.
red flag to me. It's hypocrisy, but it's also a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
What did you join? Why are you not supporting, but that's your audience? That doesn't make sense. Something isn't adding up.
Mm-hmm.
Where you have the biggest support as an author, and that goes for many. You have your audience as African American. Your books are catered towards that audience. Your target market is African Americans. But then when it comes to a book signing, not only the Doc Bookshop, but there's other Black-owned booksellers, bookstores that you have not invited into your realm of prosperity when you have the choice. You have that option. But it's more to me of a red flag. Why not? I would love to know.
It's so hurtful to see that, you know, to you offer your platform and you know the challenges and you speak it
Mhm.
in your presentation. You will say the challenges that Black business have.
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing. You say, I'm going to help the challenges. I understand there's a wealth gap. You will say
Mhm.
all those things. And then who's your bookseller? Just that basic.
Yeah.
Who's your bookseller? You're on a platform
Mhm.
talking about the economic gap, the financial gap, the
Mhm.
money
Mhm.
gap, the lack of access to housing, the lack of access to this, the problems within the Black community.
Mhm. Mhm.
And you, in your power, in your book, in the market where there is a strong Black bookseller. Right now, we're considered strong because we've been there for 15 years. We
That's right.
pioneered. We probably got 5, 6 festivals going on. We got to so
Mhm.
we can really say that we are a strong. We can get stronger.
Mhm.
There's opportunities out there that I have yet to seize.
Mhm.
But we're here, and you're talking Black this, Black that, build Black income, create strong Black communities.
Mhm.
But I'm not going to support, I'm not going to use a Black business and understanding that's the way to build,
Mhm.
to support your argument.
Support your argument, right? Mhm.
It's 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 almost embarrassing and tragic. It really is. It's
Mhm.
it's it's embarrassing to see. I've reached out to authors, Black authors, talking about reparations, and come
Mhm.
to the bookstore and talk about reparations. They don't even come to.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Mhm.
And
People
so,
choose not to. They don't. The knowledge, the education is there. The education is available. I know you guys have a lot of events, a lot of things at the Doc Bookshop where people can learn. The education is there. The platform is offered. It's available, but people don't want to learn. They don't want to know. They don't want to be held accountable for what they
exactly,
know.
exactly. I
Mm-hmm.
just people are still trying to get onto this platform.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Okay.
Uh,
I did share it to Facebook too. I'm not sure how it looks on that side. But if they are able to just click and subscribe, they may have to subscribe to watch it. But there is a few on, I see, um, right now, but they should be able to get on.
yeah, they
Um,
asked somebody just asked me for the link. But
oh,
yeah,
okay.
I mean, there's some places we should go, and there's a lot that can change in the industry, but you can't change in the industry if you don't have willing and able participants.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I
That's
want
right.
access to opportunity, but I had to deal with the people within my culture
Mhm.
to get them on board, or they can set you back. And
Mhm.
all your accomplishments, you can get set back
Mhm.
in overnight. They said,
Mhm.
well, because it looks like, well, if they're not going to support, if they're okay with supporting, you know, this bookstore, well, heck,
Mhm.
let's support them.
That's right.
I have watched a gentleman, high profile, get
Mhm.
on his platform
Mhm.
and elevate one black bookstore
Mhm.
and talk about the challenges that are happening to African American youth. When he got a chance, he gave all his books.
Mhm.
Go to these bookstores, pick up my book. One black bookstore. Most of his content is dealing with young black men. How many black men do we deal with, Tracy? How many black
Yes.
men do we? My whole Twitter is a line of black men. All my nephews.
Mhm.
We half of us can't even sleep at night worrying about the young black men in our family. Most of us can't
Mhm.
sleep at night, always worrying about the young black men in our family.
Mhm.
We as a bookstore in the urban area, we're dealing with all kind of things that confront black men
Mhm.
all day, oh every day. You
That's right.
know, I had a, I had a situation where a young man ran to the bookstore because he thought people was going to kill him, and he felt the store was closed, and he felt the safest place for him to run was to the bookstore. So he
Wow.
came running, thinking somebody chasing him, and he was so distraught that he
Mm.
pulled the door so hard, and the front frame of the bookstore came off, the metal frame. That
Wow.
cost me about, that cost so much money to repair.
Mhm.
And we're having to do this repair in
Mhm.
silence because
Mhm.
we cannot give excuses. We didn't have, we couldn't create an
Mhm.
excuse for, because our inventory is majority black and we want black authors, we couldn't give excuses for a black author not to come to the bookstore because it
Right.
almost seems that they're looking for excuses not to come. They're not really intentional.
I see. Mhm.
So we couldn't even share the things that were happening to us because
Mhm.
we knew that blacks may
Mhm.
use that not to support. Some
Right.
support it, but we knew that it's because of the trauma that we've experienced that
Mhm.
sometimes we don't really want to support them. We have the illusion because it
Mhm.
makes sense, and we want to
Right.
our platform to be strong and make sense and cater and pander sometimes. And you see the
Mhm.
ones that are really pandering and exploiting.
Right.
But we couldn't, there's
Mhm.
things that happen to us that we couldn't even share as a business. Other businesses can share that happened to them and be okay. We share, oh,
Mhm.
I can't, that's why I can't support. I can't go there
Ain't that
because
the
this
sad
happened there.
truth?
Yeah, this happened there. I can't, I ain't gonna come there.
Oh, that's
It,
the
you
sad
know,
truth. Mhm.
it's sad,
Was
and
not gonna come, and now you got
it's,
an ex.
yeah, it was hurtful to see a black man get up there with all the stuff that and we cater to black men. And it
Mhm.
was just to see him do that, it was like, oh my God, what are you doing?
Mhm.
What are you really doing?
Mhm.
It's so hypocritical. And I
Mhm.
said, I don't claim to have exclusivity
Right.
over the decisions that who you choose or who you choose as a bookseller. I don't have exclusivity over there. If you want to go to,
That's
okay, that's your choice. but I have the power to call out hypocrisy in the same spirit, in the same vein in which pioneers or people I studied and the people that had challenged the hypocrisies of their time, like the Third Eye challenged the Ramesses exhibit when it was Eurocentric, knowing Ramesses came out of Africa and they challenged that exhibit. And we don't have food, but we have a right to challenge hypocrisy.
That's right.
You know, and that was in 1989, Dallas, the Third Eye challenged. And so we come out, Donna, my business partner, great business partner. I hope she's listening. She's at the store now. Just we have separation of duties because there's so much going on. She's at the store now. A great partner. We come out of that energy, that third eye energy, that third eye knowledge and information. Those books that we as new booksellers have got to keep in the forefront of the people and not let those books go into obscurity. And that was being under the information and the intellectual knowledge within the individuals that upheld the Third Eye Organization group, which was very powerful at its time, at its peak.
Well, with that, I mean, there are so many things that, you know, I would say exposure, you know, we've been seeing it across the board with everything, right? Exposing the hypocrisy. I think that all can be dealt with, but it's about the motive to expose. Why are we exposing this? You know, is it in love that we're exposing so that we can get a positive outcome, you know, a positive response from it? You know, it's more so to expose it to you know, hopefully promote change within that particular author, you know, the particular people that are leaders in this industry, that have the power of influence to support. And unfortunately, it's not really unfortunate, but because support comes in all colors and shades, right? A lot of times the support, we want the support to come from people that look like us, but a lot of times the support doesn't come from those that look like us. And I always think that communication is key. So I would love to actually dig a little deeper with someone that to us looks like a hypocrite, but may have been rejected. You know, sometimes it looks like one thing and it's another. Sometimes we give up on people that look like us because they reject us. And was that what it was? You know what I mean? I'm hoping that it was from rejection and not because you chose, you know, to eliminate or, you know, not include someone that looks like you, even though that's your audience.
Not even, I would say if the biggest battle for a lot of booksellers is to get the publisher company to say, use this bookseller. When you are, when you become in the industry, and I just came back from the American Booksellers Conference, and a beautiful experience. Yes, it has its challenges. Yes, there's some growth opportunities for that organization. Yes, there's a lot of changes that probably need to be made or done. But when you can have a publishing company
Mhm.
recommend as a bookseller your
Right.
store, that's
And
almost
I see.
half the battle.
And then that
And,
store doesn't even get elected to be.
and yeah, and they give you the
Mhm.
resume of
Mhm.
that store.
Mhm.
They give you the resume. This is what that means they know something about this store.
Mhm.
That means they
That's
have
right.
watched and they believe that this store, if the publisher who's publishing the book
Mhm.
can have belief,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then you within the cultural landscape
Mhm.
don't have that,
Right.
that's again, I have to, even in my respect from whence you came, I have to now make a concerted effort to show whether or not I can respect your platform and do your book any justice for all
Mhm.
the different things that I do because we do trade shows. We
Right.
go, this author, we took her books to so many trade shows when
Mhm.
we were even when we did Fantasia,
Mhm.
we was a bookseller for Fantasia at the Ultimate
Mhm.
Women Expo. We had this young lady book alongside it. So at the
Mhm.
Ultimate Book Expo, we took your book,
Right.
but the alignment or what you selected, and if people are
I
really
see.
concerned,
Mhm.
they will ask me who that is. So if the people don't speak up,
Mhm.
then what can we do as a business? If because at some time it's going to take the multitude to be in unison
Mhm.
and one to make a change.
Well,
And that
it sounds like that the
and
bookstores should get together and what you call
right,
boycott.
right, raise their voices up.
Mhm.
Um, because we came a long way as booksellers. And bookstores have always been under attack. Always, they're always under because of the knowledge and information. This person don't like
Yeah, I
that you
see.
sell this book. They don't like that you sell that book. And
That's right.
this group don't like that group. And then this group don't like that group. And
Mhm.
then, we're still dealing with contemporary issues. You got the Palestine, you got the Jews, and then as a bookseller, you almost responsible for understanding everyone's truth and not leaning so much in this direction, leaning so much in that direction. It's a lot of responsibility to hold
Mm.
your ground and not be bullied by a
Mhm.
system. And so
Mhm.
you are deserving to have certain levels of support to keep your doors open.
Right.
You need that support to
Mhm.
keep them doors open because of all the challenges.
Mhm.
And
So
and we
outside of no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
we constantly provide space for every bookseller,
Mhm.
not for it to go
Yes.
into obscurity. And
Mhm.
some of the people that Cat Williams mentioned, most of the people that
Mhm.
Cat Williams mentioned,
Mhm.
we have some shape, form, or fashion had those issues with those people, with the same people, because it is very popular to become an
Mhm.
author once you hit a certain level.
Okay. Yeah.
And some thought some of those authors that Cat Williams thought we weren't good enough to be their bookseller.
Mhm.
But then the ones that they selected to be their bookseller is no longer in business.
Mm.
It's, but you have to celebrate those that understand. You have to celebrate the Hill Harpers. Hill Harper today is on the front of our, you walk in here in our store today, Hill Harper is right there. Hill
Uh-huh.
Harper book is right there. Hill Harper has his season in our store, and he's right there. And
Mm-hmm.
then LL Cool J, LL, whenever he comes out with a book, I hope his wife one day come out with a book.
Mm-hmm.
But we respect the the decision he made to come to our bookstore. Tyrese,
Mm-hmm.
we respect that because those are hard decisions in a space, and you're in an atmosphere that doesn't really understand the importance of uplifting
Mm-hmm.
Black businesses and continue to uplifting Black culture in an environment where you're very much compromised in Hollywood.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
so
I think that's powerful. Mm-hmm.
um, it's definitely Evelyn. I talk. Evelyn's asking me about the. And yeah, I'm trying to continue to share this because they heard that we're on.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna have to watch it over too. I know
Yeah.
some of it, unfortunately. But yeah, there is so many things and positive. And hello, everyone that's tuning in. We thank you for being on here with us, by the way. We definitely are engaging in hearing what Danya is sharing with us on today. With the obstacles, how they've been overcoming obstacles, the things that she has seen, that she keeps them going, because it's obviously still more good than bad that's been going on, and shared with us what she would love to see more of, and that it sounds like what I'm pulling from it is more support, from those that have the African American audience, and that have the
Platform.
influence. Yeah.
Right.
And then and seeing less of those that don't support, um and have the platform, right? And have the
Hmm.
platform to support. Um, but to turn it around, back around to thoughts, who has been your role model thus far in this industry, or do you have a role model in this industry?
I would behoove not to mention Miss Emma Rogers, who owned the Black Images Book
Mhm.
Bazaar. And I have the really who's in business, who's a bookseller today is Akwete. And Akwete, she owns Pan African Resource Connection bookstore. And these women are so tremendous in the information that they have, the knowledge that they have, um, and their generation that they're sharing it with their next generation. I
Mhm.
cannot even get over the Pan African because we have just a lot that we have going on. But when
Mhm.
I sit back and look at um, the wealth of knowledge and information that um, comes out of Pan African, it's just tremendous. And for her
Mhm.
still to be doing it this many years later,
Mhm.
um, I haven't taken no tea lately.
Oh, that's okay. Go ahead.
It's truly it's, she she's just really remarkable. I think one of those unsung, even though she's getting celebrated a lot. I just think there's so much to be had. Because I just this business is hard. It's hard,
Mhm.
and for her to continue to navigate that, I have the utmost respect for her. And and a lot of people don't know our one of our biggest book signings came because you know, she lifted up her voice. She said, those girls in Fort Worth, they're more that Hill Harper type of audience. I don't know how she put it, but uh, whatever she said, that's the reason why Hill Harper, one of our biggest book signings, ended
Uh-huh.
up in Fort Worth because
Mhm.
Okoye um, shared our story,
Awesome.
another bookseller, share our story,
Mhm.
um, our need, and the importance for both of us to coexist. I think she, you know, despite people, some people are messy or whatever,
Right.
but she is so knowledgeable and so foundationally strong. She diffuses a lot of
Mhm.
stuff. I'm still very much emotional. I'm still, look, but she's like, I mean, she's so calm with it. I'm like, oh, I'm ready. She
Uh-huh.
just in terms of getting to that state, and my own mother, my
Mhm.
own mother, she's at a in a space where, she's been in business and she's been in the business of beauty. So she's dealt with you as many heads as you touched, as many stories that came out,
Yeah.
Yeah, and so oh yeah, that you get all of the, you're relaxing them, and in that state, that's where some of the hardest stories, the trauma, the good, the
Mhm.
bad, the positive, come out,
That's right.
in that state. So, um, of course, my mother and keep the store beautifully decorated. Just is it's phenomenal what she does in that store, and um, how everything she does is just totally intentional. Whether it's
Mhm.
the little pine cone or it's the book,
Mhm.
everything has an intentional space or place. It is by no
Mhm.
reason that you may have it here or
Mhm.
at the front desk,
Mhm.
um, she's very intentional about everything that she does. And got me looking at, okay, just put the leaf
Mhm.
right there. Oh my God, but especially that color,
Mhm.
it means something. This
Right.
particular, this angle where this book is at,
Mhm.
this book is here, and that book is there.
Mm.
And she's, she came to me the other day. This person shouted out your book. You need to make sure you have plenty in store, and this is the space this book is going to occupy. Because this
Right.
person was again intentional about shouting out the dog bookshop. So when I walked in today, the lady that shouted out her book, guess what? It was facing me. Oh,
Awesome.
she wrote,
Mhm.
Denise, she wrote the book Amazing Faith, and you can see it.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. I gotta recommend her for your platform. Amazing
All right.
Faith. I gotta get her book to you so you can interview her. They said the
Gotcha.
interview went very well, and very eloquent, because she looks at how a person communicates and how a person
Right.
shares.
Mhm.
If you do a good job, like, she's on it. And so yeah, she was on it. So I definitely want to recommend her, her, especially to
Awesome.
get you in the faith arena. Yeah, so if I say those three women,
Mhm.
that you know that would be great. That's great. And of course, there's a lot of men that have, our customer base is very strong. I know I mentioned
Mhm.
the mosque and FOI, the Fruit of Islam. Um,
Mhm.
those men are very supportive
Mhm.
of the Doc Bookshop, as well as my brothers, and my sons and nephews and all that. Um, um, I admire them
Right.
for just kind of always being in that space and sharing that, and
Mhm.
respecting them. So I had to
Mhm.
give a shout out to the men.
Right.
Even though I know I said, who do I who, in terms of who you respect or what business you respect.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah.
Awesome. Yes, they are always definitely appreciated. So speaking of men, so what's the next? I know we have so many things. You guys have so many things going on at the Doc Bookshop, and you guys check out the docbookshop.com website for other upcoming events. But share with us what's the next author signing that you have coming up?
Oh my God.
Book
We
signing, shall I say? Sorry.
oh, what is I think Tim, let me see. I think Tim Ross, he's a faith and inspiration author.
Okay.
Um, I'm trying to get to our calendar because I can't remember all of it. It's so much. You
Mhm.
guys, this is Black History Month. There is so
It's a
much.
lot.
It is crazy. Packed. I can't see I can't see
That's okay.
the comments on YouTube, but I want to say some people have tuned in. I think Evelyn just
Yes.
said she tuned in. That's the one I talked about earlier in terms
Mhm.
of when we were trying to get the bookstore. When I came up with the idea, who I was in conversation with. But it looks like, of course, we got our Black History Month celebration and book fair, so we're going to have a lot at the Doc Bookshop. We're going to share a lot of books, a lot of new books. You guys come out for that Black History Month celebration and book fair. Oh my gosh, 1 to 4 this Saturday, the last Saturday in February. We kind of pull everything together, everything that we've done throughout the month. We just did the African American Read In yesterday in Dallas, was so successful. I think they had upward about 500 people that came through that day.
Awesome.
So, um, so this has been a tremendous experience, Black History Month. Of course, we have our Tuesday night, every Tuesday night open mic. A lot of young people come out and just kind of tell their experience and share their thoughts and emotions that night. So that's great. We have an evening with Beto O'Rourke. I know some of you guys know Beto O'Rourke. He's going to do a candid talk, about protecting our sacred rights to vote. We take voting for granted, but again, we have to really protect,
Mhm.
because you're only one ideology in losing all the freedoms in which this the principle of the United States was founded on, was the liberty and pursuit of happiness and protecting freedoms. A lot of people that inhabit or inhabited the United States decades ago came here on the goal of having freedom and ability to not be in such a controlled environment, and for us to continue to protect our right to vote and the liberties and freedoms that we want our families to have now and for the next generation. That's kind of where that conversation is going to go with Beto O'Rourke.
Mhm.
Again, Deion Sanders, he has a great book out called Elevate and Dominate 21 Ways to Win. And Michelle Stimson, she's Sister Side of Greens. She's going to be doing that with our Soul Sister Sunday, we had that today, which Donna held down. We got Tim Ross coming up, and he does Welcome to the Basement. So we have
Mhm.
2 days with him. So yeah, just kind of they definitely can go to our website, the Doc Bookshop, or it's easy to connect to everything that we have by going to DocBiz.com. That'll get you can click for our website, you can click for our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and we have a number of festival guides out there, so you can connect with our festival guides at DocBiz.com.
All right. Docbiz.com. So that's DOCKBIZ.com, right?
Yeah, BIZ, yeah.
biz.com. All right. Well, we thank you so much. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us? I know you have so much. And I appreciate the time you took out of your very, very busy schedule. And I know a lot of you are looking forward to at least stopping in. If you cannot go down there, purchase a book before the end of the month. Minimum one minimum item from the Doc Books bookshop. They have more than books. They have more than books as well. So I definitely highly recommend. Let us support our Black businesses, not only for February, but let us continue to, support each other more so now than ever. But is there anything else that you'd like to add
I would say
before we
just
end?
continue to go support our website, our events. We have a lot of great events coming up. Yeah, just support and support your show. You're doing some amazing things. So, follow Talk with T, and just while you listen, open your minds up, and then, like, follow, and share that platform, and just kind of support for real conversation and real talk, because we appreciate everything you do and keeping God in the forefront of all that we do.
Thank you so much. And thank you for all of you all that have watched. I cannot see any comments. Do you see any comments? Is there any questions that were asked that we didn't cover on your side? I don't see any questions on my side. But hopefully we've covered everything. And if there's more questions that we did not get to cover, well, we'll have to do a part 2.
Okay.
We'll just have to do another interview, right?
Oh yeah, Women's Month next month. Oh yeah.
Women's Month, right? So we gotta
Right.
do something else. So maybe that will be another opportunity where if you didn't get some of the information you wanted to get, we didn't give it to you today. Well, check back in March.
Oh yeah. Oh
We'll have
yeah.
to look. All
Oh
right.
yeah.
But if there's also anybody else that would like to be a part of Let's Talk with T, you could go ahead and subscribe. And you also can inbox me as well on, I guess, on social media, or you can you can email me, Women's Visions. So WOMENSVISIONS.org @gmail.com. If you'd like to engage in conversation with me, I'm also on Facebook, A Woman with Visions. I am a Christian author, and I have a page, A Woman with Visions. That's where this is branched off of Let's Talk with T. So you can always inbox me via Messenger on Facebook as well. Pretty easy to find. But if nonetheless, go to the Doc Bookshop, go to docbiz.com, go to their YouTube channel, subscribe, like, follow their page, share it with your friends. Let us continue to share and spread the love. Amen. So I'm thankful for each and every one of you all that was able to get on. For those of you that got on later, go ahead and watch the replay, because you'll still have access to the video. It will be up. I believe that you may have to subscribe to watch it. However, it will still be up. So I'm thankful, Danya, that you were able to, again, take time out of your very busy schedule. But I'm thankful. But we speak increase over your business. We thank you for continuing on in the race, of the book selling race. Stay in it because you're winning. And we look forward to networking with you soon. We will look forward to networking.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you so much. Talk to you later. Bye. Again, thank you for you all tuning in with Let's Talk with T. Again, I'm your host, Tracy Patton. If you have any questions or inquiries and you want to schedule an interview, schedule a conversation with me, Let's Talk with T. Contact me. All right. Again, that's womensvisions.org @gmail.com. Hope to see you soon. Hope to hear from you soon. Continue to spread the love. Continue to share. Talk to you all. And again, thanks for